Just a moment. Need to record something else as well. Okay, let's do a speaking mock test. My name is Gwen and I'm your examiner. Can you tell me your full name, please?
My full name is PO19.
And what should I call you?
You can call me Trang for short.
Okay, Tiang, in the first part of the test, I'd like to ask you a few questions about yourself. Let's talk about what you do. Are you a student or do you work?
I'm working right now. Actually, I have been working as an international procurement team leader for 5 years now, and my job involves in working with suppliers, negotiating prices and searching for more potential suppliers as well.
Thank you. Well, then, what do you like best about your job?
I think the most interesting part about my job is the opportunities that I have to work with people from all walks of life, which means I can, broaden my horizons as well as gain different perspectives that I might have never been aware of.
Mm. Is there a job that you would like to try in the future?
Yes, I would like to become a part-time teacher in the future, especially when it comes to teaching English. I think I'm quite passionate about teaching, and I think it is because my mom and my grandma were both teachers too.
Thank you. Let's talk about plants. When you were younger, did you keep any plants?
Plants? I think actually no, plants. You mean future plants?
No, plants as in like trees and flowers.
Ah. Okay, plants. Yeah, when I was a little girl, I did grow some flowers or things like that because actually my mom is really into gardening. She would love to uh, plant a lot of small trees or flowers. So she would guide and explain or help me how to grow things like that. So I think it is a very essential skills to have. I did learn a lot from such experience.
Mm. Are there many plants where you live right now?
Yes, I think though my the area where I live is a densely populated area, which means there are a lot of high-rise apartment buildings that set in my area. There are a lot of trees in the nearby park where I usually go for a walk. I think I love to spend time there because it is really cool and I can enjoy fresh air as well as take in the scenery there. So yeah,
Okay. In the future, do you want to have more plants in your room?
I do. Yes. I think having how house plants in my living space can be very useful because they can help to brighten our living space, they can help to purify air quality, and of course, I think they can add, you know, calming touch to our living space. So I would like to have a lot of house plants in our room.
Thank you. Let's continue. Let's talk about keys. Do you often bring lots of keys with you when you go out?
Mm, I think yes. I usually bring, like house keys or car keys or motorbike keys on my bucket. So I think it is very essential to have them with me. Sometimes I'm too absent-minded. I would leave them elsewhere. So it would be very difficult for me to go back home that set. I try to bear in mind that I need to carry them whenever I need to go out
Thank you.
somewhere.
So what do you often do when your keys are lost?
Well, I think I would try to stay calm and call my husband for help. I think most of the time, my husband would be my lifesaver. So instead of just worrying too much, I tend to, yeah, get panic whenever I lose my key. I used to face a very, like risky situation before because I lost my key. So I call my husband to help.
Thank you. In the next part of the test, I'm going to give you a topic. You have 1 minute to make some notes, and you can speak about it between 1 and 2 minutes. Is that clear?
Yes.
I'm going to show you the topic right now.
Mm,
Can you see it?
I do see it.
I'd like you to describe a gift you would like to buy for a friend. You have 1 minute to make some notes first. Your 1 minute starts now.
Yeah.
Okay, remember you can speak about this topic between 1 and 2 minutes. And don't worry if I stop you. You should start speaking now, please.
Okay, I'm going to describe a gift that I would like to buy for my friend. At first, I would like to describe more about my friend. Her name is Hannah. Actually, I first met her 10 years ago when we were both students at university. We had a lot in common and we struck up a conversations and we became friends. So I think we had a lot of similar interest, especially when it comes to reading books. I think she is a bookworm. So, almost every weekends we would like to explore every corner of the nearby bookstore to, find interesting books together. So I think the gift I would like to buy for my friends is definitely a good book, and it is called A Happy Life. So, as for how much time I spend with my friends, I think nowadays, because we are caught off with work and study, so we don't get to see each other very often, but I make a point to, stay in touch with her by sending messages or making video calls, things like that. Sometimes if I'm in the area, I would drop in her place, we would catch up over a nice meal. And I think regarding the type of gift, I mean, the book I would like to give to buy for her, I think she would really like it because She is the person who really enjoy exploring different things in life as well as gain different
Thank
perspective.
you. Thank
Yeah,
you. Do
so
you often buy gifts for other people?
not very often, to be honest, but
Thank you.
I try. Yeah.
Thank you. In the next part of the test, I'd like to discuss with you one to two more questions related to what you've been talking about. Let's talk about buying gifts. What do people often take into consideration when buying gifts for other people?
Well, I think there are a lot of things people might consider when it comes to buying gifts for others. And I think it ultimately comes down to each person's personality for sure. So people might consider about the recipient's interest or, like I do see people tend to pay attention to the interest, their personality, and they choose the gift depends on such criteria. So they might consider like some practical items like books, clothes, or things like that. It depends on the recipient's personality and interests. And on top of that, I would say there are other consideration which is maybe practical, for example, money, because sometimes buying a gift can be really time consuming and it is really it so maybe practical gifts such as money can be very useful. So you just send such amount of money to the person, and that kind of person can use that money to
Thank you.
buy things
Thank
they
you.
actually need.
Do you think that more expensive gifts are always better than cheap ones?
I do believe so, but it depends on the situations as well. I think a more expensive gift can offer, high quality and can easily last longer for sure, right? So instead of, spending just on a very
Thank you.
expensive
Then
gift,
do
yeah.
people generally appreciate expensive presents more than cheap ones?
I don't think so. Sometimes it's just the thoughts behind the gift can more can matter. Sometimes money doesn't count because I do see that just you put a lot of effort into choosing gift or just making a homemade gift, it can really important and it can let your friends or your other people know that you are really taking care of them, you are really pay attention to their interest,
Thank you.
rather than just yeah.
Thank you. Let's move on. Let's talk about what might happen to buying and giving gifts. In what ways might buying and giving gifts change in the future?
I would say there will be some changes in the future, but the the actual meaning of a gift is just you show the person you sent the gift to the respect, the time, the care that you want to express rather than just the gift itself. So I think they might change to a more practical gifts such as sending money because of their convenience, as well as it really helps you to save a lot of time. So yeah, I think people might gravitate towards some more practical gifts rather than
Thank you.
just yeah.
That should be it for the test today. Just give me a moment. Okay, let's have a watch. What am I supposed to do now? Hmm, The screen recording. Okay. Is it on? Quick time player. Okay, I think this is the one. Can you? Okay, good. So this is the video. We're gonna
Mhm.
focus on only one part. I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
some co general comments first. I think that you did relatively well today. I mean, it was certainly much better than what you did the last time we spoke.
Yeah.
Um, Overall, I would give you a solid 7. A 7.5 is a bit of a reach for me, but I would definitely give you an 8 for either pronunciation or fluency and coherence or lexical resources. Not grammar for some reason, but
Yeah.
maybe grammar too. But essentially just 1 8 and then 3 7s.
Uh-huh.
Right. So if you want to get a 7.5, you need to get at least 2 8s.
Yeah, I know.
And if you want to get an 8, well then you have to have like 4 8s, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I thought that you did well in terms of extending your answers in part one and also part three. You did surprisingly well today, which is quite a compliment because I usually don't say that to anyone at all.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
hmm, what is to be desired?
So I feel like I do like my weakness is grammar. I try to improve my grammar a lot, but I can control enough, I think.
I
So
mean, you certainly have a much better control now in comparison to what you were able to do a few
yeah,
months ago, right?
yeah.
Complete
Mm,
control is an illusion.
yeah,
Native speakers can't do that themselves. And in fact, no one should need to do that. I mean, grammar is only there for you to patch the words together, right?
yeah.
Just that like when you're really fluent and you're very proficient with a language, you
Mm,
can avoid making mistakes that are, fundamental.
yeah,
Okay, we're gonna go through speaking part two specifically. For part
mm,
one and part three, I thought that you did surprisingly well. Like in part three, I was just waiting to see if would eventually run out of things to say. But for the very first question, you made a very strong impression, although you didn't exactly give me any examples.
yeah,
That was still a really nice run because you just kept on speaking, and
yeah,
I was just waiting for you to pause so that I would interject with a question. But well, yeah, you were able to sustain your rhythm, so that was nice. But we're going to focus on speaking part two now.
yeah.
Now, hmm. Like to buy. If I stop you, you should start speaking now, please. Okay, I'm going to describe with you. I would like to buy for my friends. First, I would like to describe more about my friend. I would advise you to do that because that's not the purpose of the question. A more
Yeah,
natural phrase to lead in would be something like, so the friend that I'm thinking about is, right?
yeah,
It's better for you to say that. So the friend I would like to
yeah,
talk about is this person. Also,
yeah,
not at first, just first. It's better that way.
yeah. So friends, like,
Actually, I think that we have talked about this Hannah more than a few times. Okay. She's a really
yeah,
good.
yeah, she
All right,
is.
fine. I first met her 10 years ago. When we were both students at university, we had a lot in common. Students at university. Hmm. Something is missing. If I were you, I would say something like when we were still university students, I wouldn't separate these two words.
Yeah, university
Still stu
student.
university students.
Yeah,
We struck up a conversations and we became friends. So I think we had a lot of similar interest, especially when it comes to reading books. I think she is a bookworm. So, almost every weekends, they would like to explore any corner of the nearby bookstore to.
It sounded a bit forced back then when I first heard it, and it still sounds unnatural. So perhaps we should change it a little bit. I think she's a bit of a bookworm. There was no need for you to emphasize that word. You can say,
yeah,
for me, she's like a bookworm, right? For me, she's like a bookworm. You can remove
she's
the I think,
yeah,
because that rhythm made your sentence sound like super serious. But then the
uh,
only thing that came out of your mouth was, well, yeah, she's a bookworm,
yeah,
right? You don't really need that sort of rhythm to, dish out such an, I wouldn't
yeah,
say like easy basic, but it did sound like a basic word to use, right?
yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then we would like to explore. Not really. Perhaps we would um we would spend our weekends exploring different libraries and what they had to offer, right? We would just put everything in the past, not we would like, because we would like means that something that you would want to do, right now or in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
Find interesting books together. So I think the gift I would like to buy for my friends is definitely a good book. Um,
By for her, at this point, there's no reason to refer to her as my friends, also plural form. That should be single, that should have been like, a singular.
Yeah.
So the gift that I would like to buy for her is a
Bye.
book.
Yeah. Bye for her.
is called A Happy Life. So as for how much time I spend with my friends, I think nowadays because
You see, one word at a time. Definitely not a
Mm.
good rhythm.
we are caught up with work and study, so we
We are caught up with work and studies. One more time, because nowadays we're both busy, like we're caught up with our own work and studies.
Nowadays, because we are both busy, I mean, we are caught up with work and studies.
Not quite in there. Nowadays we're both busy, like we're just caught up in our own work and studies.
Yeah. Nowadays, we are both sorry. Nowadays we are both busy. Like we are caught up with work and our own studies.
Still don't like the way that you pronounce the word busy. One more
Yeah.
time. Nowadays, like we're both busy. Like we're caught up in our own work and studies.
Okay. Nowadays we are both busy. Like we are caught up with work and our own studies.
Okay, let's continue.
don't get to see each other very often, but I make a point to, stay in touch with her.
I make a what now?
Make a point.
Okay, so you kind of like swallowed that word because you messed up your rhythm, right?
Yeah.
We're both busy. Hold on,
So as for how much time I spend with the bookstore to, find interesting books together, I think if I like to buy for my friends is definitely a good book. And it is called A Happy Life. So as for how much time I spend with my friends, I think nowadays because we are caught up with work and study, so we don't get to see each other very often. But I make a point to, stay in touch with her by sending messages or making video calls, things like that. Sometimes if I'm in the area, I would drop in her place. We would catch up over a nice meal. But I think
A nice what?
Meal.
A nice news.
Meal. A meal.
Meal.
Yeah.
One more time. A nice meal.
A nice meal.
Okay, so there are two sounds, I think. Meal, meal.
Meal.
Yeah.
A nice
I
meal.
thought that you were going off topic. At the back of my mind, to be honest, I didn't really like pay attention to all the details. But at the back of my mind, I noticed that you were going off the rails in a way. I wonder if that's an appropriate idiom. Sorry, I'm gonna take that back. If you go off the rails, it means that you start behaving in a crazy way. You didn't do that, but you did you did go sideways. You did go off topic. You did go off on a tangent. Um, I felt like you should have just, how should I say this? Like that particular, part of your speech was not super long, but because of the way that you delivered the information, it felt like
Yeah.
eternity. That should have been a breeze. That should have been like a random story that that you plugged in.
Yeah.
And if since it was just a random story, it should have been delivered a lot faster, not like one word at a time like that. I felt like
Yeah.
that was like the central part of your speech. And unfortunately, it had nothing to do with the topic, right?
Yeah.
So that should be something like, well, we're both adults now, so like we don't get to see each other that often. Like we're both busy. Like she has her own thing going on and I have my own work. And I would only, try to like contact her via messages, and every once in a while I would drop in to see how she's doing, and perhaps, we can like go out for dinner or lunch, essentially just a nice meal together to, catch up. That's it. That's the kind of rhythm that you need to use when you go through that sort of content. That is a mini story. That shouldn't have taken, so much strength
Yeah.
and and energy.
Yeah.
regarding the type of it, the book I would like to give to buy for her, I think she would
I think that was horrible rhythm.
like it because she is the person who really enjoy exploring different things in life as well as gain different perspectives.
Okay, so I thought that I've already said what I need to say. I mean, I felt like, that particular response didn't really measure up to my
Yeah.
expectation because because of that particular bit regarding your interactions with your friends, or
Mm.
with, in this case, that particular friend of yours. It was a
Mm.
nice story, but it sort of shifted the focus of the topic from a gift to a friend, right?
Yeah.
If you want to slide in mini stories, which is a perfectly viable tactic, I think that I've told you that myself, and I've done that
Mm.
more than a few times. Um,
Mm.
I guess the trick of the trade here is that you need to make sure that your delivery is on point. If
Mm.
you're focusing on the topic, then you stretch the words out. You go into full details. You take your time, you manage your pace. But
Mm.
just if you're running out of things to say, but you still have like 2 more minutes to go, then you
Mm.
slide in a few mini stories here and there. But these
Mm.
mini stories are not supposed to, take
Be there.
every
Mm.
ounce of energy that you have to produce. That's gonna shift the focus of your answer. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, look,
Thank you.
that's it for today then. That's
Thank
why
you.
for me, like it's a solid 7, but definitely not a 7.5.
Okay. Thank you.